Welcome to Gyan Gurukul e-classes. Today we are going to learn about the relationship between the marginal rate of technical substitution and the marginal product of various factors of production, right? So in our previous classes we have already see what is isoquant here. So I have draw a isoquant here. IQ is denoting a particular isoquant, right? And the two factors of production are capital denoting in the y-axis and labor in the horizontal axis, right? Now see, at any point, okay, at any point in the isoquant, if we find out the slope of the isoquant, then that slope is called marginal rate of technical substitution. Okay, marginal rate of technical substitution here. Okay, between labor and capital, right? See, there are two things. When we call that marginal rate of technical substitution between labor and capital, then we mean, okay, then we mean, say, at this point, okay, let me draw the slope, right? Okay, right. uh Let me take another color. Yes, now see, this slope is denoting a particular relation. Okay, sorry, right. This slope is denoting a particular relation between both labor and capital, right? What is that relation? That relation shows that in order to increase the amount of labor by 1 unit, how many amount of capital you have to give up. Okay, that means in order to you know employ, or in order to use one extra unit of labor, how many units of capital you have to you know given up, right? See here, okay, this slope is saying that in order to achieve, or in order to, sorry, not achieve, in order to use this much amount of, okay, this much amount of labor, you have to give up this much amount of capital, right? And so we can write it as, say, change in capital. Okay, so we can write it as this. Okay, that means in order to change labor, how many amount of capital you have to change, right? That means in order to gain one extra unit of labor, how many amount of capital you have to give up. Clear? And that has been denoted by marginal rate of technical substitution. Clear? Between labor and capital. And alternately, if we write that marginal rate of technical substitution, okay, marginal technical substitution between capital and labor, okay, capital and labor, then it is the reverse. Then it says that how much unit of labor you have to give up to gain an additional unit of capital, right? Or, sorry, it would be labor, and in the denominator it would be change in capital, right? That means in order to use, or in order to employ one more extra unit of capital, how much or how many units of labor you have to give up, or the producer have to give up. Okay, that is called marginal rate of technical substitution between capital and labor, right? So mind the difference, that when we are said uh, when it is said that the marginal rate of technical substitution between labor and capital, that means in the numerator you are going to write change in capital, and in the denominator you are going to write change in labor, which means that you are going to change labor by 1 unit, and remember how much unit of capital you have to give up in order to gain an additional unit of labor, right? That is marginal rate of technical substitution between labor and capital. And when we talk about MRTS capital and labor, okay, when we say in the reverse way, or the alternative way, then it means that how many units of labor this time you are going to give up to use or employ an additional unit of capital. Clear? So mind this difference, right? Now see, there is a relationship between MRTS and MRTS and marginal product of labor and capital, right? See, we can write the MRTS LK, or MRTS labor and capital, right, as marginal product of labor, and in the denominator marginal product of capital, right? So we can write the marginal rate of technical substitution between labor and capital as marginal product of labor divided by the marginal product of capital, right? Now let's see how we can derive this equation. Okay, how we can derive this equation, right? See, we already know when we say marginal product of a particular factor, say marginal product of labor, right? Then what we write? We say that change in total output, okay, or in that case, in this case, we say the total output is, you know, denoted by x. Okay, output is denoted by x, right? So what we write? We write the change in output or change in x, right? Due to change in labor. Okay, that means how much changes have occurred due to increase in increase in labor. Okay, right? Now this we can further write as, we can write it as change in output equals to what? Marginal product of labor multiplied by change in labor, right? We can also write it as this. Clear? Okay, now in place of marginal product of labor, we can now write this. Okay, we can now write this, right? So we will replace the marginal product of labor by change in x divided by change in L and multiply it with change in L. Okay, multiply it with change in L, right? Okay, now, okay, let me clear some space here. Sorry. Okay, so we know that we can write the change in output, okay, due to change in, you know, change in labor, we can write it as this, right? Similarly, we can also say when we change capital or the other factor of production, the amount of change in output, that can be written as change in output due to change in capital, as we can write it as in a similar way. Okay, marginal product of capital multiplied by the total change in capital, right? The marginal product of this thing here, okay, it is denoting marginal product of capital, right? It is denoting the marginal product of capital, and when we multiply the marginal product of capital with the total change in capital, what we get? We get the amount of change in output, right? So we see two things. First thing is that when we change, keeping other things or other factors constant, when we change labor, the amount of change in output is denoted by this equation, okay, denoted by this, right? That is marginal product of labor multiplied by the total change in labor. And in the similar fashion, we can also write when keeping other factors constant, when we change the capital, then the change in output is, you know, denoted by marginal product of capital multiplied by total change in capital. Clear? So now we know two things, right? From here, then what we can write? The total change in x, okay, total change in x. See, here the change in x was due to capital, okay, here the change in x was due to capital, and here the change in x was due to labor, right? Clear? Now if we see the total change in x, then we can write, okay, we can, okay, let me take the full total differential, okay, total differential. So dx, right, is a result of partial change in x due to what? Due to capital, okay, sorry, okay, and multiply it with change in capital, right? And then plus it with what? Add then add the change in x due to change in labor, right? Change in x due to change in labor. Clear? We can write it as this way. Yes, the total change in output is the addition of change in output due to change in capital and change in labor due to change in change in output due to change in labor. Clear? Okay, now see, in case of a isoquant, okay, in case of a isoquant, there is no change in output, right? Say from this point here, if I move to this point, right, capital and labor, the combination of capital and labor would change, but output would remain constant, right? Throughout a isoquant, output always remain constant. Hence, in case of isoquant, change in output would be, would be equal to 0, right? Change in output would be equal to 0. Clear? This is because when there is a partial increase in output due to partial change in the amount of capital employed, right, it may be positive, right, say it may be positive, but at the same time, when you increase the amount of capital employed, then it means that you have given up some amount of labor, right, you have given up some amount of labor, and due to that fall in labor, there would be some amount of output that would be fall, okay. So there would be an equal amount of negative impact, and as a result, change in output would be remain 0, or there would be no change in output at all, right? There would be no change in output at all. Why? Because in case of isoquants, we know then when we increase capital, okay, when we increase capital, we must decrease the other factor, that is labor, or alternately, when we increase labor, we must decrease capital, right? And that is why, if suppose capital is increased, that means labor has been decreased, and the amount of output that has been increased by the increased amount of capital, say this amount, it is positive, but at the same time, the decreased amount of labor would also lead to a partial fall in output, okay, that is a negative effect, and both this positive and negative effect will cut each other, and as a result, the output would remain constant, right? The output would remain constant, it would neither increase nor decrease, right? Okay. So now what we get that the change in output is equal to 0, okay. The change in output is equal to 0 in case of an isoquant, right? Okay. Now if change in output is 0, then this means that this right hand side here, that is marginal product of capital multiplied by change in capital plus the marginal product of labor multiplied by change in labor, it is also equal to 0, okay, it is also equals to 0, right? Therefore, we can write this equation as like, let me clear some space. Okay, we can write it as, see, the marginal product of capital, that is change in output due to change in capital, right, multiplied by the total change in capital plus the change in output due to change in labor, that is the marginal product of labor, and multiply it with the change in total change in labor, we get what? We get 0, right? We can write this equation as this. Yes. Okay, now let's do some further changes in the equation. Okay, let me now take this side, okay, take this here from here to here, okay, from the left hand side, let me take this part, okay, let me take this part from left hand side to the right hand side, right? Okay, so what would it be look like? It would look like this: change in x, okay, divided by change in k, okay, multiplied by change in capital. And further with this, we will do one more thing, that is, first we will take the right hand side, we take this portion to the right hand side, and after that we will also divide both the two sides with change in labor, okay, we will divide both the two sides with change in labor. So it would be look like here, change in labor, we divide this by change in labor, and here in the right hand side we can write change in x divided by this change in labor multiplied by change in labor divided by change in labor, right? So what did we do? First we take this this portion to the left to the right hand side from the left hand side, and then we divide both the two sides, that is the right hand side and the left hand side, by change in labor. Okay, now the further simplifying it, we can write as, okay. See, now what we will do in this step, that we will take this portion, okay, and we'll divide this by sorry, we will divide this here, that is the marginal product of labor and divide it by the marginal product of capital. So we can write it as, see, change in capital divided by change in labor, and what will be in the right hand side? See, in the right hand side there will be, in the numerator we can write change in x divided by change in labor, and in the denominator what would be, it would be this portion, okay, it would be this portion, that is change in x divided by the change in capital, right? Clear? Okay, we can write it as this. Now see, what is this? Change in x, or the change in output due to change in labor. Okay, that means it is marginal product of labor, right? We have already know that what is marginal product of labor. It means that change in, total product due to a one unit or an additional unit change in the labor, right? So we can further write it as marginal product of labor divided by, what is this, change in output due to change in capital. This is simply marginal product of capital, right? We can write it as marginal product of labor divided by marginal product of capital, right? And let's now, how can we write it? Let me clear some space here again. See, now we can write it as, let's take this negative sign towards the left, left hand side, then we can write it as, see, minus change in capital, okay, minus change in capital divided by the change in labor equals to the marginal product of labor divided by the marginal product of capital, right? Now what is this minus change in capital divided by changes labor? This is nothing but the marginal rate of technical substitution, or MRTS LK, okay, MRTS LK is equal to this portion here, okay, this portion here. Clear? We have already know that the slope of the curve, okay, the slope is negative. See, the slope is negative, that means the throughout this curve we are coming from left hand side to right hand side, while there is a negative relationship between labor and capital, right? And that's why the slope is negative at any point. Clear? That is why, see, this is nothing but the slope of the line, right? This is nothing but the slope of the line, that's why there is a negative sign here, right? And this slope is called marginal rate of technical substitution, right? The marginal rate of technical so we have found that the marginal rate of technical substitution is of labor and capital is marginal product of labor divided by the marginal product of capital. Clear? We have got this equation. And if it is like that, say marginal rate of technical substitution between now capital and labor, okay, capital and labor, in that case it would be like marginal product of capital in the numerator, and in the denominator it would be marginal product of labor, right? In the numerator it would be marginal product of capital, in the denominator it would be marginal product of labor. Clear? So what we have known? We have known that the slope of the isoquant at any point is called marginal rate of technical substitution. That is the first thing. And then the marginal rate of technical substitution between labor and capital is nothing but this one, okay, is nothing but this one, that is the change in capital, okay, or the change change in capital that has been occurred, okay, due to one unit change in labor, or in order to increase labor by 1 unit, the amount of capital that you have to give enough, okay. So this is nothing but MRTS LQ, right? And from here we, through our equations, we have proved that what is this? This is also nothing but the marginal product of labor divided by the marginal product of capital, okay. That means there is a relationship between MRTS LK and marginal products of the factors of production. And what is this? This equation is, okay, this relationship is denoted by, okay, this equation. Yes. And similarly, if the we have to calculate the MRTS of capital and labor. Okay, not MRTS LK but MRTS KL. Okay, now here MRTS KL means that amount of labor you have to give up to gain additional amount of capital. In MRTS LK we were giving up capital to gain additional amount of labor. In MRTS KL we are giving up labor to gain additional amount of capital, and in that case this equation would look like this, right? So that's all from this class. Okay, thank you. And one request to you, if you guys like our video, then please hit the like button and do share and subscribe our videos so that other people can reach our videos as well. And if there are some doubts and queries, or if you want to say something to improve our videos, then feel free to say so in our comment section, right? Thank you.